far-right, white supremacist riots हुए, especially north of UK के अंदर.
In Southport, 3 girls were stabbed to death. And then there was misinformation which was leaked online. Really, the danger is the misinformation on the internet, which is causing these problems. It's dividing communities.
What is your experience growing up and now working, living in London?
I ended up working a lot abroad in my career because I couldn't get these kind of opportunities here in London.
From the South Asian community, maybe Pakistanis or others, of leaving the UK?
And they say they have a better quality of life. They're getting more things for the money that they earn. And I mean, as you know, that here in our country, here in London,
ब्रितानिया में शिद्दत पसंद, सफेद इंतहा पसंद के राइट्स और निजाम एक बार फिर हिल के रह गया. Let Ali show you के एक और एपिसोड में आप सबको खुशामदीद. Do like, subscribe and share this content. बात कर रहे हैं यूनाइटेड किंगडम की, जहां पे हमने पिछले 2 हफ्तों में देखा कि बहुत सीवियर फार राइट वाइट सुप्रेमिसिस्ट राइट्स हुए, स्पेशली नॉर्थ ऑफ यूके के अंदर, हल के अंदर, संडरलैंड, ऐसी जगहों पे. और उनमें हमने देखा कि स्पेसिफिकली पाकिस्तानियों को, मुसलमानों को, बांग्लादेशियों को टारगेट किया गया, उनके दुकानों को टारगेट किया गया, गाड़ियां जलाई गई, मसाजिद के ऊपर हमले हुए. और इसके पीछे एक शैडोई तो नहीं कहेंगे मगर कैरेक्टर्स हैं टॉमी रॉबिन्सन जैसे, बट ऑल्सो इलॉन मस्क और लोग दीगर सोशल मीडिया के अंदर सिग्निफिकेंट कैरेक्टर्स ने ये जो पूरा सिचुएशन था, इसके अंदर आग के अंदर तेल छिड़का, मिस इंफॉर्मेशन, डिसइंफॉर्मेशन, इन सब चीजों को आगे बढ़ा के. इस मौजू पे बात करने के लिए हमारे साथ ज्वाइन कर रही हैं फ्रॉम लंदन यूके Nav Grewal. Navjeet Grewal has her own YouTube channel as well. She's a journalist, and you can also follow her on her YouTube channel. Nav Grewal shows you. Am I right, Navjeet?
yeah.
All right. So let's begin with what's happening in the United Kingdom. I basically gave an introduction about the overall situation, that there are these murky forces that are at play in the United Kingdom known as the far right. Can you tell our viewers, what do you mean by the far right?
Well, the far right are people who are against people of colour, and it all started on the 29th of July when in Southport 3 girls were stabbed to death. And then there was misinformation which was leaked online by a conspiracy theorist. So that conspiracy theorist is now possibly going to be prosecuted. The identity of this person online that was leaked, they did not even exist. They were not a Muslim person. Then what happened on the 30th is these far right, I would say, these people are calling them racists. They went and attacked a mosque in Southport. And then in response to this, we've had some mass riots which have swept the whole of the country. And they are against Nigel Farage, the Reform leader, and Tommy Robinson. I'm not sure if your viewers are aware of him.
So hold on. Let's before we carry on, this is something very important, I think. What you said is that there were these conspiracy theories that followed the murder of these 3 young girls by someone who was born in the UK but originally from Africa. His parents came from Africa, and he had mental issues apparently, and he commits this murder. And then these conspiracy theories start spreading online that this was a Muslim that was behind this attack. And behind these conspiracy theories are people like, as you said, and obviously you're going to tell us who these people are, Tommy Robinson, Nigel Farage, and even Elon Musk.
Yes, so it's all through this platform, Twitter, it was formerly known as Twitter, but now it's X. And Elon Musk owns X practically. And he basically, apparently it's a lady up north in the northwest of England who leaked the name a Muslim person. This person did not exist. They do not exist. So the real person is somebody else. They have now been arrested. It is now a case It's now going before judges here in the United Kingdom. But what this has done, it's made some people very angry. So they're now thinking that immigrants are wrong, people of colour, they shouldn't be here. We've had writings on the wall saying send them back. So it's really been heartbreaking for a lot of people, and there's been a lot of destruction. People cannot open their businesses out of fear. People want to move homes. It's really wreaked havoc on the communities. So really the danger is the misinformation on the internet, which is causing these problems. It's dividing communities.
It's dividing communities, but the picture that you're painting of a place like the United Kingdom, which people think is an amazing place, a multicultural melting pot. How does it feel to be a person of color, someone who was born in the UK, but visibly a person of color, minority, maybe not in London at this moment in time?
Well, I don't think it's a very nice feeling, but I can say, being at the demonstration, the protest recently in London, which was just this following week, the previous weekend, I found that people were coming together in unity, and they were against Nigel Farage and people who are racist. And I do find that sometimes on the tube people do smile and everything, but I do sense a lot of nervousness, and people don't to be very restful. It seems to be security's tight. People don't really seem to be that happy. And I've noticed helicopters patrolling the area. Some of them keep me awake at night. My friends have spoken about it too. So it's not really a nice situation, but I do feel like there's a lot of unity in the protesters, and people do want to welcome migrants. They do like migrants. A lot of businesses they go to are migrants. My
So there were
hairdresser's
these protests.
Turkish.
Sorry to interject, but there were these protests from the far right, and then there have been these counter demonstrations against the far right, and that's what you're
Yes,
talking about.
yes, it's a movement. So it's a movement, and when I interviewed people during this demonstration, there was white people that said, we don't like any intolerance against people. We think everyone should be welcome here. They've always been welcome here. People have always come here to work and to study or whatever they want to do.
How do you then square the violence that we've seen in the north, which is led by these allegedly white supremacists, far right, with the multiculturalism or this cross-border movement that you're, or cross-ethnic movement that you say is taking shape in the UK, where you have white, brown, black, everyone saying that this is not the United Kingdom, that we are a welcoming people, that we're an inclusive people.
I do think that the people in the United Kingdom are inclusive. They do like to include people, but I do think there is a minority that have jumped and listened to the brainwashing of social media. Social media influencers, they're not journalists. I'm a journalist. You're a journalist. We're qualified. We get the facts right, but people are making up things, and people are unfortunately listening to those things, and they are then acting out at people and targeting people. This, I believe, this is, well, it's a criminal offence. You can't go attacking people based on that. It's not their fault. They're just trying to live a peaceful life.
They try to live a peaceful life, but then you have, as you said, social media accounts with heavy followings, even people like Andrew Tate that have jumped into the mix and have basically peddled disinformation, misinformation, misogyny, racist content, memes on X, and primarily X, but other social media platforms as well.
Yes, well, the problem is, on the back of this misinformation, Nigel Farage fueled this further because he acted like the police knew something about this, that they weren't telling us something. But that was not the case at all, as we know. And some of the media have now started to come after Nigel Farage for fueling this, to not actually put a stop to it and let the police do their job, because they are there to protect people. And I do think the police have had a very hard time lately because they've had to deal with a lot of protesters and they've got attacked. They've been in the firing line.
For viewers that might not know who Nigel Farage is, Nigel Farage was one of the significant leaders to have pushed this idea for Brexit, which eventually turned into this referendum whereby the United Kingdom left the European Union. And since then, Farage, his stars rose and then fell again, and now he's back in vogue, so to speak, and he's become a significant leader in his own right in the United Kingdom. Looking forward, Nav, and you obviously have experienced all sorts of maybe racism opportunities as a brown person living in the United Kingdom. Tell us a little bit about this idea of when we talk about racism in the UK or in the West, for someone who is from there but maybe doesn't look like the protesters who want people to be thrown out of this island. What is your experience growing up and now working, living in London and the United Kingdom?
Well, it is racist because you have to tick many boxes. They want to know if you're white. If you're not white, then what are you? You're British Indian, what are you? Like British Chinese. So I do think there is that. There isn't, they have diversity programs for people that want to work in places. If there wasn't racism, why would they need to do that? I ended up working a lot abroad in my career because I couldn't get these kind of opportunities here in London. And still, I do think it's a challenge because I don't know what the hiring managers look for in companies. Do they look at talent and ability, or do they look at the colour of your skin? It's very hard to tell. We will never know. But I know that it's not easy, even being British born. Um, I don't know if there is that equality. We would like to think that there is. And I do think there are some good people out there, but this all just shows that things have to change and it's not acceptable. People should be, you know, be treated fairly and in a decent manner.
But these are institutional or institutionalized things that have taken centuries to evolve and take hold. And a lot of people then say, you know what, hell with it. I don't want to deal with it. And they leave the United Kingdom, they move on to other places and live there. So, do you know people that are contemplating from the South Asian community, maybe Pakistanis or others, of leaving the UK?
Yeah, lots of people. I hear about people all the time. They go to tax-free countries. They go to Dubai. They go to Doha. They go to lots of places where it's tax-free. They go to European countries, and they say they have a better quality of life. They're getting um, more things for the money that they earn. And I mean, as you know, that here in our country, here in London, the NHS is at breaking point. I don't really think I can name one service that is really working efficiently. It's not really a great situation. It's not that the country doesn't want to welcome migrants. I think there's a lack of room, but then there's this intolerance, which personally, many that I spoke to, they didn't feel like it is acceptable, and it's not.
What kind of intolerance? But briefly, if you can tell us.
Well, the the violence, the racism, writing people on things on walls about people, making people feel like they can't even open their stores or they can't even walk down the street. I mean, there's people that are scared to even open the door. That's what people have been telling me, that they're scared and they don't want to go out anywhere. They want to stay in. They're really worried that it'll be a thing of the past, like years ago when these kind of things used to happen.
Thank you so much, Nav Grewal. Do follow her YouTube channel. I'll put the details down there. I know it's a very hard time and a difficult time to be in the United Kingdom, economically, socially, politically, but we appreciate your reporting. तो ये थी नाव ग्रेवाल और ये हमें बता रही थी कि क्या सूरत हाल है फिलहाल यूनाइटेड किंगडम के अंदर, रेसिज्म वहां पे किस तरीके से फैल रहा है और सोशल मीडिया का किरदार। हम पाकिस्तान की बात करते हैं और पाकिस्तान के अंदर ऑब्वियसली सोशल मीडिया की एक अहमियत भी है, मगर पाकिस्तान और यूके को कंपेयर करना उस तरीके से मेरे ख्याल से मुनासिब नहीं होगा। कंप्लीटली डिफरेंट केस स्टडीज हैं जहां पे पाकिस्तान में स्टेट जो है वो तशद्दुद कर रहा है और अपने जराइम को छुपाने के लिए दबा रहा है सोशल मीडिया को। दूसरी जानब यूके के अंदर जो सोशल मीडिया ओनर्स हैं और जो ये इन तशद्दुद पसंद ग्रुप्स हैं, ये इसको यूज करके मिस इन्फॉर्मेशन और डिसइन्फॉर्मेशन फैला रहे हैं अगेंस्ट माइनॉरिटीज एसेंशली, जो हमने देखा म्यांमार के अंदर रोहिंगा के साथ जो हुआ था फॉर एग्जांपल फेसबुक के ऊपर कई साल पहले। फिलहाल इतना ही, अपना ख्याल रखिएगा। डू लाइक, सब्सक्राइब एंड शेयर दिस कंटेंट। अगली बार तक अल्लाह हाफिज।